at the size of that one, Jared.
Oh, look at the size of this one. Gigantic fish.
Fatso here. Look at that thing. Whoa.
That is a magnum brown bass.
Really crunch it like that guy.
You want to have a good time, do something that's easy.
Just a tank.
Go tie on a swim bait, and you're going to have success like that.
Closed captioning is provided by Smooth Moves, adjustable boat seat suspensions for a smoother ride.
Look at the size of that one, Jared. That's
Ooh,
a big
that's a
boy
tank.
there.
That's
You
a
know what?
tank, Jim.
I may need Mr. Net on
Was
this
that your
animal
first
here.
cast?
Yeah. Yes, the first cast. Wow, look at that size of her. Holy mackerel. That's a real big boy there. Wow. Should be a beautiful day.
Yeah, first
Mr.
cast,
Smith
that's
and
a
I are out, and we're going to talk a little bit about swim baiting. You know, swim baits have become a big part of fishing today, and it's for all different species of fish. Right now, we happen to be fishing for smallmouth bass, but a lot of this stuff relates to a lot of different species of fish, whether it be walleyes and pike. But we're going to focus on swim baiting for bass. Look at the size of that one, and that's a beautiful starter fish. Look at that thing. Just a tank. Fatso here. Look at that thing. Whoa. Well, a real whippersnapper.
When Jim's referring to swim baits, a lot of people think of those giant California-style swim baits that might imitate a trout or something like that, but what we're really focusing on is the soft plastic swim baits. Baits that are anywhere from, say, 3 to 6 inches long, and they're a lure that has become widely used in our tackle box. I would say 5 to 10 years ago, we probably had a few of those swim bait or paddletail style baits in our box. Nowadays, it's a lure that rarely do we hit the water when we don't have one tied on at all times.
I know that there's not another bait in my tackle box that actually has expanded over the last couple of years because I use them in such diverse situations throughout the course of the year. I'm fishing them anywhere from 4 foot to 35 foot for all different species of fish. Right now we're using this is a 3/32 ounce finesse head, VMC finesse head, in a 4-inch big bite bait, but it's a real relatively smaller profile when it comes to swim bait fishing. But we're going to actually experiment with some other bigger profile baits and talk about the spectrum of where these baits can be fished throughout the course of a season, because it's really amazing. That was on the outside a little bit deeper.
I was dragging real slow. I switched it up to a little heavier head. Nice one.
There you go.
And got down. I mean, that's the thing with these swim baits. I think I can just grab them, Jim.
Sure.
Is depth control many times is simply dictated by how heavy of a jig you've got on. Let me just grab this guy here real quick. Oh, it's a nice fish. Huh? Beautiful, beautiful smallmouth. So you can see right now, that's on the VMC darter head, and that's a pretty good sized head. But we're fishing in, say, 7 to 9 feet of water, and on a slow retrieve, I just wanted to be ticking the tops of those rocks. So fishing a 3/16 or an 1/8 ounce wasn't giving me that depth control. So putting a little heavier head on got me right in that zone. So I've always got a few rods rigged up. Get this guy back here. That's a beautiful fish.
Got the swing down. I like that. Now the boys are starting to bite.
Ooh, nice one too. Big,
There's
big
a
dark one.
That's a mule. You know, as you were saying, we really use the baits in a wide variety of different fishing situations. Right now we're fishing smallmouths on a big northern natural lake, but what I'd like to share with you also is looking at various locations and rigging in those locations, because you know, throughout the course of the year, and dependent on the cover and where the fish are positioned, can make a dramatic difference on how to fish this bait. Beautiful bass.
That is a beautiful
big darky.
bass.
Beautiful. Look at that guy there.
As we've said, swim baits are extraordinarily versatile baits that work in a wide variety of situations for a lot of various fish species. One of the biggest parts of swim baiting is matching the correct jig or hook system to the soft plastic bait. Swim baits today come in a lot of different sizes and profiles. VMC makes a wide selection of jigs and hooks that are specifically designed for swim baiting. On the finesse side, the VMC half moon heads come in weights from 1/16 to 1/4 ounce. These are great for spinning rod and lighter bait casting applications. Our bait of choice today is a Big Bite 4-inch swimming jerk minnow and a cane thumper. Let's move to larger profiles, 5 to 7 inches in length. Here, VMC boxer jig, flat shad jig, and the swim bait jigs come in weights from 1/8 to as heavy as 1 ounce for heavy bait casting situations. This weight spectrum enables you to fish from the surface to as deep as 30 foot or more. These are serious hooks that should be casted on heavy bait casting rods spooled with 17 to 25 pound test line. For bigger baits, I like the 5.5 BB kicker and the 5-inch cane thumper. When fishing around and through a lot of weed or wood, weighted and unweighted swim bait hooks can be a good option. The best swim baits have some unique characteristics. Number one, they really have a soft tail section. That soft tail imparts vibration throughout the whole body as it moves through the water. Secondly, the boot tail reaches above the body line. This really increases vibration even at slow speeds. Swim baits come in a lot of different colors. Many are literally hand-painted to create realistic baitfish patterns.
There's one. I think I got your fish. You
Yeah,
just
well, yeah, you
dumped
did.
it.
Well,
See, you got to be quick on the draw. If he dumps, you go right in. Don't hesitate. Cast over the guy, do whatever it takes.
We've made our name helping anglers unlock the water's hidden secrets. Hit the switch. It's time to reveal even more. AutoChart Live gives you the power to build your own high-definition maps anywhere in the world in real time. Because when you know the unknown, you can do the unheard of. AutoChart Live. Only from Humminbird.
Catch more and bigger fish with Lindner's Angling Edge. AnglingEdge.com has the tools for success, tackle and equipment, adventure destinations, clothing, inspiration, instructional DVDs, and more. Miss an episode? Watch it on YouTube along with cutting-edge tips, techniques, and trends. Check out our tactical wear clothing line. Hoodies, buffs, long and short sleeve t-shirts, sunglasses, and a whole lot more. This is your one-stop shop for everything angling. Lindner's Angling Edge. Online, anytime.
Mercury engine test.
Toughness you can rely on. It's good to have Mercury behind you.
Uncompromising, like the fishermen who swear by it.
Mercury engine test.
Lightest 115 horsepower in its class. It's good to have Mercury behind you.
This segment is brought to you by iGogs, quality eyewear.
Mr. Smith, it's just a walleye.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
a great big walleye.
Yeah, it's a big walleye too, huh? How do you like that? Man, these swim baits catch everything that swims. They really do. I'm not kidding you. You can't believe how many different species of fish you can catch on that. And especially if you're jig fishing, this style, the 4-inch paddle tail body is just fabulous, fabulous for this style of fishing. Look at that big, beautiful, beautiful walleye, man.
We got to go back that way.
All right, we've got no shortage of gear in the boat. And check this out, this is pretty slick. This is a little Stowmaster net that we've been, all of us keeping in the boat for just catching about anything that swims. Look how slick that was. It folds up into nothing. It's a great size. You can put bass, walleyes, big crappies, just about anything you want into the size net. It extends out really long and it tucks away so you don't have anything to get in your way. This is really quite the impressive little net.
See, they're on them really deep saddles is the whole key to this rodeo right now. The fish are, you know, with that weather, we've actually had some really sort of negative weather, and those fish want to come up really bad. And a lot of times, I fish for big water smallmouths a lot, and it's interesting, the fish are still coming up, but they're up on the deeper flats all around these high spots is where the fish are positioned. That's where we're catching a lot of these bass right now. But the interesting thing is, we're gonna have 2 or 3 days of warming, stable weather, and it's gonna be dynamically different. All of a sudden, all these fish are gonna be surrounding all the tops of all these real high crowns.
But many times, especially early in the year, your high percentage spots for catching brown bass aren't necessarily on the crowns. You're looking for little depressions up on flats, or anytime you've got like a sand rock transition, a little bit deeper water. Now, deeper water could be 8 feet in a flat that's mostly 6 feet, or it could be 10 feet in a flat that's mostly, 8 feet. But it's just those subtle little transitions can make a big difference in catching fish. That's another nice brown bass. Let's get him back. Love how pretty they are. They're just nice and thick.
You know, it's been interesting over the spring here. A number of the major bass tournaments across the country in all diverse waters, Kentucky Lake, Lake Eufaula, were all won swim bait fishing. But the thing is, it's interesting to me on how many tournaments across the North Country, swim baiting is a really key technique. Got him. Ooh. Whoa, look at that one. Boy, look at the size of that guy. That's a big one. Real tanks.
You want a net on that?
Yeah, this guy here is definitely a net.
You want to get your picture with that one?
Yeah, I'll take a picture with him. You know, right now we're fishing in relatively early season. The water temperature is relatively cool. And the interesting thing is how these baits work seasonally. I mean, we were, fish them spring, summer, fall. For brown bass, right now we're fishing early, pretty cold water, so we're using relatively light heads, fishing relatively shallow water. But, later in the season, as that water gets warmer, those fish are done spawning, they dump into deeper water. We're using a lot heavier heads. We're using speed as a really key triggering component for swim baits. That's one thing what Jeremy was talking about, the weight of the bait. It's not only how the bait is moving, but how fast the bait is moving. That's what's really critical. And you can use sometimes real slow speed, like right now in spring. These fish are still pretty inactive. The water's cool. We want that bait, just tracking along and the tail's going boom, 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 boom. But as that water, later in the summer, warmer water situations, you want to use that speed, the faster vibration to trigger fish into biting. So it's sort of an experimental process with the weight and the weighting system you're using for your swim bait. That fish came up a little bit higher, Jer. The inside here. Boy, they're all good ones too, boy.
Yeah, when you get bit, they're the right ones.
Yeah, I'm reeling it along and either just increasing the speed once and just keep on straight tracking, or just a little bit of a little jiggle with the rod tip. Not a lot of movement. A lot of times with this, so many different baits, you're actually imparting a lot of, jigging and motion into it with these swim baits, because it's got that boot tail. It's got its own sort of innate vibration. It seems like that's a really great attracting maneuver, but you don't have to do much with it. The other thing that I do a lot of times too is when I cast the bait out, and I'm actually using a relatively low rod position that's actually almost pointing towards the bait. And I'm reeling along and I just give it a little twitch like that. And a lot of times what happens, it seems like the way that bait is tracking along, the fish come just up in back of it and they just airball it. All of a sudden you're reeling it along. It's like, boy, I lost the weight of the bait because the fish just came up in back of it, inhaled the bait and kept on moving forward.
Oh, look at the size of this one. Gigantic fish, Jim.
Wow.
Gigantic.
Here, I'll get the net on that dog.
Wow,
Oh, we want to see that
magnum, boy.
For years, they've quietly taken you where the fish are. But now the silence is about to break. With the incredible new iPilot Link, your Minn Kota and Humminbird can communicate with each other. So you can hold on a spot like an electronic anchor. Record and return to waypoints and paths. Follow any Lake Master depth contour and more, all automatically and all from your Humminbird or the Link remote. They talk and you'll be speechless.
Hey, you remember when we were hanging out last night? You know, me, you, Gail.
That's my girl.
You guys are awesome. And then you went to bed.
I was tired.
You were super tired. And then it was just me and Gail.
Mm-hmm.
Alone.
What?
Yeah!
It's all in the paws. New Shadow Wrap from Rapala.
They say that if you turn your passion into your career, you'll never work another day in your life. At Lund, we've turned that passion into building boats for anglers who demand superior fishability, performance, and industry-leading innovation. From our dealers, to our veteran pro staff, to our employees, the Lund family puts their hearts and souls into delivering the ultimate fishing boat that we ourselves are proud to own. That's not a job, that's a lifestyle.
The Edge is presented by these and other fine sponsors.
Wow, look at that. I'm serious. This is a magnum.
Yeah, look at that.
That is a magnum brown bass. Woo-wee. Look at how he ate that too, huh? I'd say he had a good attitude. That's another nice thing about fishing with a jig and a single hook is chances are pretty good you're gonna get them in the boat.
Boy, that's a beautiful bass.
Beautiful bass, holy cow. The gear you're fishing with can make such a huge impact on your fishing experience. And the rod I'm fishing with right now, well, we've got a number of rods rigged up just depending on how heavy a bait that we're fishing, the size of the swim bait, and the size of the jig that we're fishing with. But this one right here is a St. Croix Avid X. It's a 6'9" medium light, extra fast power. Super fun rod for fishing smallmouth on lighter baits like this in open water. It's also a rod that I'll double up with as a panfish rod. If I'm fishing panfish and cover, it's an awesome, awesome rod for that style of fishing. And then of course I've got it spooled up with a size 15 reel on here. This is a Quantum Accurus, and I like that smaller reel for a lot of this swim bait fishing, whether I'm fishing a small swim bait or a grub. The smaller reel forces me to fish a little slower just simply because of the spool size, and it makes for a really nice light combo. It's a heck of a fun way to fish. And then I've got this spooled up with a really cool line. This is Suffix Nano Braid. It's a super, super fine, light braided line, and I can cast a mile with this stuff. It's got really great handling characteristics, and this is 6 pound test. So this is like angel hair here, man. You put this combo in your hands and you are having a good time when a brown bass bites.
One thing with these Legend rods, boy, you really notice the impact with that real fast action rod. You're way out on the end of the cast and the fish hits the bait, and when you pull back on it, this rod has got a really pretty fast tip on it. You can see when all of a sudden when you set the hook, it's all of a sudden really loads up, and all of a sudden it digs in when you hit that point when the fish bites it, which is sort of important because a lot of times, you know what I mean, you're hooking fish and getting bites way out away from the boat.
This technique of swim bait fishing can really be as simple or technical as you want to make it. It's a really, really versatile category of soft plastic lure that catches fish in clear water, dark water, shallow water, deep water, no cover, heavy cover, you name it, it's exceptionally versatile. Versatility is important, especially when we're talking fishing. Fact is, the more flexible an application, the more different species you can catch on it. We've talked about the rigs for swim baits, and it can seem complex, but it really doesn't need to be. If you want to make it easy, Storm has a variety of swim baits that are pre-rigged. These lures work right out of the box for almost any species you're after. The colors, shapes, and styles they have are amazing. Take a look at these patterns. They look nice above water. Now check them out below water. You swear they look alive. Storm lure developers take pride in making lifelike baits, and they don't joke around. Here's the best part. They're very inexpensive. You can go to your local tackle shop, drop about $20, and you'll be rigged out for any type of bass, walleye, pike, or other game fish you're after.
Man, oh man, the boys are starting to get active. There we go, another great big brownie.
Big boy?
All of them, they look the same. You know, as Jeremy was saying, this bait works in so many varied conditions. That's the cool thing about it. From rivers, reservoirs, big natural lakes, the Great Lakes. I mean, that's one thing that goes to show you the versatility of this bait and how effective it is. Let's see if we can sort of hand land you. Come here, the little rascal. Look at that guy there. Big fish. Ooh, look at that thing. Beautiful bass. Look at that thing.
That is a beauty.
It really is.
There's no place like this.
Oh, there's one.
There you go, Jamie.
There's
Nice
one.
fish. Cool.
No matter what moves you, Seafoam works.
Uncompromising. Like the fishermen who swear by it.
No matter what moves you, Seafoam works.
The Edge is presented by these and other fine sponsors.
I do a lot of bass fishing, and my trolling motor is this 4-Trex, you know, and it's a cable drive, you know, instantaneous foot control, but I do a lot of accurate target fishing throughout the course of the year, and it's just my preferred trolling motor. But it's interesting over the last number of years that these electric steer, like a Tarova, has become a lot more commonplace, even amongst bass anglers in the North Country that fish these big waters. And there's a couple of different reasons why you can actually do, you know, routes and do different things, you know, track lines where you can have the trolling motor follow a really specific track line. But one of the biggest things is this feature called spot lock. And, you know, you pull up, and no matter what depth of water you're in, you know, I actually have talons on this boat that'll, you know, short, shallow water anchoring system, but they're 12 foot and shallower. With spot lock, I can be in any depth, hit the spot lock, and it holds that boat in that exact position. And it's been sort of interesting because I see a lot more guys, particularly in the more of the Great Lakes tournaments, I see a lot more guys using that Tarova.
Feels like a gooder. Oh, that's fun. I mean, these rods just load right up. I'm fishing an extra fast action rod right now. Look at the fight on that, but you can see, oh, he's a leaper. You can see how when you're a long ways out, the rod, you know, gets full load about a third of the way down, and it just drives those hooks home. Oh, it is fun, man. Fun, fun.
Is he a nettable model?
Yeah, it's pretty darn
as long as I'm being a
bass,
sort of a nice guy. Come here, buddy. There we go.
Oh, beautiful.
That's a fat little guy you got there.
Yeah, fatso. Look at that. Look at the tub on that one, huh?
That's a
He's
tub
been
of
eating
lard.
good. Absolutely. Big, fat, chunky bass. Hey, you want to have a good time, do something that's easy, productive, go tie on a swim bait, the rigging of your choice that works best for the environment that you're fishing, and you're going to have success like that. Big brown bass or maybe big buckets will be coming in the boat for you.
I just finished reading an interesting article titled America's Future by Perry Stone. Perhaps nowhere is this gap between a once solid biblical foundation and today's shaky moral relativism on display more than the campuses of our nation's institutions of higher education. Consider the mottos of some of America's first universities. Harvard's motto was Glory in Christ. Brown University chose the motto, In God We Hope. Rutgers selected the theme, Some of Righteousness Shine Upon the West also, referencing Malachi 4:2. Johns Hopkins University motto is, The Truth Shall Make You Free, based upon Christ's words in John 8:32. The theme, In Thy Light Shall We See Light, was the choice of Columbia University. Dartmouth selected as their motto, The Voice of One Crying in the Wilderness, based on Isaiah 40:3. These are all verses in the gospel. And Princeton selected the words, Under the protection of God she flourishes. Ministers founded many of America's colleges and universities with an emphasis on teaching ministry, evangelism, and missions. Today, those with religious departments are often chaired by liberal and even agnostic professors who have little or no faith in the integrity of the scriptures. They teach it only as a historical book filled with errors and myths. I really don't want to say anything or make a comment on it. I just wanted to share it with you and let you think about that this week. Hey, from all of us here at The Edge, you have a good, safe fishing season. We'll see you on the water.